Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to the show. I'm Black Dragon, and this is Think Tactical. And we started this prepper show about almost a year ago, and it was out of an abundance of caution and some fear, not knowing what the future was going to bring, but feeling like something was about to happen. And I've been part of the being prepared movement for many years of my life, as have my co-hosts Bob Coleman and Myron Petro. We came together as friends, as work colleagues, about 15 years ago at a company called Eris. And we started out just lifting weights together for lunch. And we lifted hundreds and hundreds of pounds together. And we found out that we all had an affinity for weapons. Myron was an avid hunter and a reloader and a gunsmith. So he was always the leader of our little pack. And I came to understand about these two guys that they were very up on political happenings. We didn't always have the same political ideas. But what I was really impressed with these two guys is that they were always, if they were saying something about a particular political party or something, one thing I noticed about these guys is that they were always well read on their subjects, on both sides of the issues. We've been doing this prepper thing for years and years and years. And I want to apologize as I get started. I want to apologize because you don't have the normal lead in and we don't have the music and all of that. I'm driving in my car. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just left the studio. And I decided I just wanted to talk to you guys candidly and honestly about things. And so I'm riding down the street in my car, and this is supposed to be I wouldn't call it I wouldn't say that we're in a lockdown, but we're supposed to be staying at home, and unless you're an essential person. And for me, there's no one in my office, there's no staff, nothing like that. That's all gone. And so it's just me in an office of one. I run all the equipment, all the machinery, and everything. And so my house is about 4 miles from my office. So I drive straight to my office and I drive straight home. But I wondered what might happen if I were to run into a National Guard checkpoint. And I think something like that is highly likely, especially given what the hell's going on. This is terrifying. The President of the United States floated an idea of regionally isolating a city, a state, 2 states, 3 states. Connecticut, I believe. It was Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York earlier today. Well, I guess technically yesterday. He floated the idea of actually isolating. And it's not that I think that that's a war on state, a civil war on states. If you're involved in the prepper movement, you already know that this is how that game is played. You already know, you've studied this, you already know that part of the way that this all goes down is there's going to be a situation, a movement of fear. This is how this goes. You just seen the beginning of it. You don't even have a clue as to what's going to be happening. It's going to be absolutely terrifying. Cities will turn on cities. States will turn on states. The federal government will turn on states. Neighborhoods will turn on neighborhoods. Neighbors will turn on neighbors. We saw this in Katrina, where a group of people on a bus were trying to get the hell out of Katrina. And the funny thing about it was there wasn't even a virus. They were just trying to get out of floodwater. And some citizens had set up a checkpoint. They got with the local sheriff, the local police department. This is how maddening this gets. And they set up a checkpoint across this bridge, and as this bus of people was trying to escape the floodwater, the news had it out that there were looters in the street. So in order to keep the looters out of their parish, county, city, territory, whatever, they set up this checkpoint on the bridge with armed citizens to stop your movement in a free country. This is how that BS will play out. What the president said, we're thinking about shutting down these cities and stopping access, because the governor of Florida called him up and said, hey, dude, all these people are running out of New York. They're running out of the lockdown. They're running out. People are stingy. People are greedy. People are self-important, self-aggrandized. People do not give to the cause of we most often. That's why there's nothing in the stores. Oh, you go in the stores and there's plenty of produce. There's lots of kinds of like fresh meat and stuff. But the stuff that people use, chicken and hamburger meat and stuff like that, gone. Canned food, gone. It's not gone because these people need it. Even with every stay-at-home order, you can go out and shop if you want. There's nothing stopping you from shopping. So why on earth are all the store shelves empty of anything you might need? They have to put limits on this stuff. They got to say, hey, no, look, heck, come on, man. You don't need 60 bottles of bleach. You don't need 45 cans of Lysol spray. What the F are you doing? Being selfish. I'm being selfish. I only care about me and my brood, me and my family. Not understanding, of course, that we need all of us if we're going to survive. We need us all pulling through. Listen, people, you ain't ready for what you're talking about. You haven't prepped. You don't have any farmland. If you did, you don't even know how to work it. You're not ready to roll off the grid without your air conditioners and PlayStations. Your pansy ass is not ready for how you're acting. You're not ready not to be a team. You're not ready not to be we, united and strong. You ain't ready. You're not ready for how you're acting. Because if you were ready, you wouldn't need anything from the store. Well, I've got friends that don't need a damn thing from the store. When this plague hit us, they needed nothing from a damn store. They might need their milk, coffee. They might need their iced coffee. They might need some fresh produce. But they weren't going to the store and buying canned goods. They've had that shit for years. They rotate it out of their food supply. While they're eating their normal food every day, they rotate in and out of their food stocks. They rotate MREs. They rotate Wise food. They live as though this could have happened any day. That's how they live. And you can get ready. But you can't be panicked about it. But the way some of y'all are acting, there ain't no way in hell. The way some of y'all are acting, there ain't no way in hell that you are ready for how you're acting. You're emptying the shelves so you can survive and when nobody else can. Do you understand that you won't be able to keep all that stuff you just hoarded up? Do you understand that when your neighbors turn on you and they come kick in your front door and blow your brains out if they have to, that all that shit you just hoarded up will be gone forever? And if you're alive after the encounter, if you're alive after the encounter, you'll be sitting there without your stuff. And it will be good on you, good for you. It's a time like this that you've got to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. It's a time like this that you need to be setting up a team, putting a team together, getting with your neighbors, setting up your neighborhood watch, preparing your neighborhood for not a bug out situation. We were always prepared for a bug out situation in case we had to get the hell out of Dodge. A storm is coming, an earthquake is a hurricane. But what they're talking about is something far different than you may have prepared yourself for mentally. What they're talking about is they're talking about locking you in a region in your home, in a region, and that is that. Whatever happens in that region, whatever happens in your home, that's what happens. And throwing away the key until the coronavirus kills as many people as it's going to kill. And we will see it get more and more like that as time goes on. And this virus gets worse. We will see that this terrible thing, this terrifying, scary thing, is not like anything we may have imagined. So you better get ready. You better stop with the silliness and understand that it's going to take a gargantuan we effort. And how can you be a we when you can't even touch the person next to you? How can you be a we when you have to stand 6 feet away from the person next to you? But we've prepared ourselves for that. We have every kind of communication device. And we used to do this. I mean, I remember, 10 years ago, going home for Thanksgiving, and we were all together in the same room, and everybody's head was buried in a device. That was what being together was. Everybody together in the same room, but each person's head buried in a different device. That's what we were doing. And we were okay with it. So we need to be okay with it now and using it for our best advantage. Because if we don't, you might get to have exactly how you're acting. You might get to be alone for real. And in that case, you'll just become one more statistic. One more damn statistic. One more statistic in a group of statistics that are happening to people all around the world. This virus is killing people by the tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions before this will all be done. This is real. This is The Walking Dead. This is all those movies. Orson Welles. This is all those movies. All those books. All those zombie movies. Vampire movies. Everything that we have been afraid of that has kept us up at night. The fall of civilization. And civilization has fallen before. And it will fall again. We have seen it before. It's Bible stories about it. Plagues, pestilence. Noah dealt with it. Moses dealt with it. Pharaohs have dealt with it. And there was always a persistent tone in the Bible. Prepare yourself during times of good for the things that are going to happen during times of bad. It was years before I could buy AR-15 bullets. Years. People were so afraid that, well, actually I was able to buy AR-15 bullets, but I couldn't buy 22 rounds forever. You couldn't find them anywhere. People were so afraid that President Barack Obama was going to come take all the guns. it was during that I learned how hoarding by certain individuals made it impossible for other individuals. So that if you were smart, you would identify what it is you think you needed to do whatever it is you thought you had to do. You would identify that. And you would start to, I guess, hoard yourself. I guess that would be a good term. You would definitely have to set yourself some back so that when the panic hoarding comes, you'd be able to get that. And so this is a lesson for next time. There are some things, like who would have ever thought you would have needed hand sanitizer and toilet paper? And when we did our bug out bag, if you remember that, Bob and I had all kinds of hand sanitizer in there. But we never thought we'd need it for what we need it for now. I always thought I would, might be able to use it to help start a fire, something like that. You want to be clean if you're bugging out in the field. Never knew that there would be a pandemic, and I don't know why, because the experts have been telling us for years and years, hey, pandemic is coming. Hey there, pandemic is coming. Hey, we haven't had a pandemic since 1918. We got close with SARS, H1N1. We were close. We watched it affect Asia. We were laughing at them, always walking around with a mask on. Ain't so funny now. They don't seem so stupid now. We'd laugh at them. They always walking around with a mask on, especially when they come to the United States. They have gotten used to going into public with a mask on so that you don't pass germs. You don't get it because they have seen firsthand what the passing of germs in the open does. And we see that. We've seen that throughout the years. We've seen that in refugee camps. So we have to ask ourselves, gee, what are we facing? Well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet what we're facing. We don't know yet how it will affect us. We don't know yet if civilization will change forever, or if this is just a hiccup that we're going through and we'll be okay next year. Are we just going to lose several million, several 100,000? Or is this the beginning of the end of survival, the end of the world as we know it, Tiatwakwi? Is this the beginning of the end? We don't know. 400 new infections. 400 new infections in one city in one day. What the hell is going on? This means that people you know. This means that people you know, people that you deal with every day, that look and seem healthy. Because, hey, it's the middle of the night, 3:30, almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm walking my dog through this. I'm in my RV. I actually took my RV to an area. This is I'm in a a state park, and I feel like this is a place where I can be away from everybody. There's very few people here. So I'm walking my dog at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30, almost 4. And I'm wondering to myself, it's like, as I'm walking, I'm thinking, and I'm like, what? It, and so in Georgia right now, we're having pollen all over the place. So pollen make you sneeze, make you cough, give you a dry cough. These are signs of the virus as well. So if 400 people get this virus, if 400 people got it in one day, they're talking to people, they're hanging around somebody that doesn't even have a dry cough, like the dry cough I have right now. If you're hanging around with me and I had this little cough, you'd be like, oh, hell no, bro. Did you just cough? Yeah, well, bro, whoa, what the fuck was that? So you're getting this virus because no one's dealing with anyone that's coughing right now or sneezing. If you have more than one sneeze, or if you're sweaty, hacking, coughing, any of that, nobody's dealing with you right now. Not even your good friends. Hey, man, you coughed 3 times. I'm going to let you go. We'll hang out with you next week. You need to go home. That's what's going on right now. So that means if 400 people got infected in one day, they infected each other. Like, this thing is so virulent. I touch you, you touch me, I touch someone else. We all got it. I'm not coughing. I'm not hacking. You're not coughing. You're not hacking. Nobody's sick. This is being passed by non-sick people. Well, we're not sick today. All you have to do is get infected to pass infection. This is The Walking Dead. This is that. This is that. This is The Walking Dead. This is that going on. And that means that you better keep your ass indoors. The only reason you come out is to walk your dog. Fill your car up with gas. Or drive to the store and come back home. That's it. That's the only reason you're going outside. You're not going outside for anything else. You can be infected. It's like a zombie plague movie, like The Walking Dead. Everybody was infected. They just didn't know it. You didn't find out you were infected until someone died. Then as soon as they died, they turned, they changed. That's what's going on right here. That's why I believe this thing is man-made. I believe a scientist somewhere put this shit together and accidentally or on purpose turned it loose on humanity. And the idea of Pandora's box, it's not new. Pandora's box has been around forever. That someone would turn loose calamity, would turn loose hell on civilization. That there was a box somewhere that someone had that they could turn loose on civilization. And evil, insidious, and crazy people, and selfish and greedy, and power-hungry people do things like that all the time. In every Superman movie there ever was an insidious asshole who wanted to rule the world no matter what the cost in life and misery and suffering. And this is the perfect germ. Maybe God put it on us. Maybe he did. We haven't been good people. We haven't been good to one another. We haven't been good to humanity. We haven't been good to the oceans. We haven't been good to the environment. We don't give a damn. We just take. We have oceans of floating debris. Our fish are eating this debris and dying, thinking this is food. We got plastics in the ocean. This might be Mother Nature saying it's time to get rid of these assless idiots. Remember that movie made by M. Night Shyamalan, what's his name? Something like that, where Mother Nature turned on the people. And all of a sudden you would just start walking backwards. Remember that one? And kill yourself. Or that other one, Blind. Was it Blind? No, what was it called? It was the one where these aliens came from outer space or whatever. We never got to see them. But if you did get to see them, they made you see something and you would kill yourself. Whatever your worst fear was. Maybe that's it. Maybe Mother Nature's turning on us. Maybe God himself is like, the Earth is a planet that's only so big. It can only support 8 billion people, and you guys have 100 billion people sitting here. You're taking my kindness for weakness. I can get rid of you by the millions. Maybe this is a natural culling, a natural selection. Whether this was done insidiously by a scientist in a lab, or this is just Mother Nature's way of thinning out the herd, it matters not to me. Scientists have identified some ways by which you can survive it. And one of those ways is if you don't have it, don't get it. And so this really is going to be survival by people who have means. If you have means, you can sit in a hole until this is over and pop your head out. If you don't have means, you're going to have to go to work with people who could be sick, and you're going to catch it. 70 to 80% of us, they say, are going to catch it. Now, some of us will catch it and it won't mean anything. But the weak, those of us who are weak and old and affirmed, or rather infirmed, we're going to get it. We're going to get it, and it's not going to be good. You got diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, you could damn well die. And so that's where we are with it. That's where we are with this. Are you going to survive it? And surviving it might mean I got to put my ass in a hole, and I got to tell people I'm not paying rent, and I'm not paying. And let me tell you something. If you're at a point where you got $1,700 cash and your rent is due, don't pay that rent. Don't give your cash away. They ain't doing shit right now. Ain't nobody coming to evict you out of a damn thing right now. No one. Only thing you got to do is keep your lights on. And for some of you, your internet going. And they might not even be turning that off right now. Call the people. Call them and tell them, hey, I cannot pay my rent. Call them. Call them and tell them. I can't pay my electricity right now. They might be giving away a little bit of time right now. And that's what you need right now. You need to be able to sit around in a hole somewhere buried until this plague passes over. And if you go back in the Bible and you read about some of those plagues, that's just what they did. It's funny how close to those biblical times we still live. The only difference is we got a 42-foot RV. But it's still a hole you go climb your ass into, just like them back then. And you wait for the pestilence to pass. And you ride the wave. And those people that are not smart enough to ride the wave are the people that we read about. Those are the people who make up those numbers. Those are the people that comprise the statistics. So there is hope. There is hope, my friends. The hope is that you figure out how to do what it takes to survive. That you get your ass in that hole and you hole up. You get your ass in that hole and you hole up. And let stupid people do what stupid people do. We ain't all gonna make it. Some of us ain't gonna make it. My captain used to say on my submarine, the stupid shall be punished. The stupid shall be punished. So if you want to go out on the beach and congregate and have spring break because you think you're young and you can't die, but this earth has been burying young, dumbass people for millennia. This earth has no problem burying a youngin'. The young gazelle that strays away from the herd because mama said, hey, stand next to me. The two other gazelles stood next to her, but the third little gazelle, he decides, over there in the bushes, that looks interesting. Let me go check it out. Mama tells him, hey, get your little four-legged ass back over here. Every time she looks around, she got to tell him, you aren't following the program. One day she don't have to tell him no more. That little bright, shiny object in the bush was the whispering tail of a lion that knows that certain little baby gazelles don't listen. And he knows if he can draw it close enough, there won't be a damn thing mama can do about it. There are mama gazelles that have gone down. The lion gets her and her baby, and then her other two that are over there now without a mama. That's how this works, my friends. Survival is a cold game. It's a cold-hearted proposal. Only the most shrewd survive. Only the ones with the most intelligence and acute awareness of self-preservation survive. They understand that there's safety in numbers, so they stay with the herd. They follow the rules. They follow the rule of the pack. They make no mistakes about it. They know that their longevity is attached to their ability to operate succinctly with the herd. When the herd moves, they move. When the herd crosses, they cross. When the herd settles down to sleep, they sleep. They never allow themselves to be consumed with self-importance. They know that they need each other to survive. They know that they need to act in accordance with each other to survive. We are so off on the self-actualization thing because our basic needs have been met. We're not hungry. We're not cold. We're not wet. So we're used to exploring the me side of things. Now I'm watching this mayor in Italy, a video of this mayor in Italy who has to walk out into the town and tell people, you can't sunbathe on the beach. You can't be out here working out in a pack of 5 or 10 dudes. He's got to go tell person after person this. He's got to go share this as the mayor. He, the mayor, has to walk around the city and tell people. Another guy, another mayor, he's on saying to these folks, why the hell are you having your barber come to your house? Who the hell do you need a haircut for? Who needs to see your hair? This person, we don't see how this thing is spreading. We don't quite know how it's spreading. We know it's invisible. And you got a person that goes from person to person, from person to person to person to person, with his shears and clippers, beauty supplies. And he could have come from one victim and now makes you the victim. So you could do what? Have a beautician come to your home? Have somebody come do your hair? Well, you people you're stuck on stupid. Well, I hope your hair looks good. You're going to die with that haircut. You risked your life for it. You literally risked your life for a haircut. Do you guys see the lunacy in that? Can you get your thinking caps on, please? Can you engage your freaking thinking caps for just a moment and understand that this is not a game? I had one of my family members say, well, the overwhelming majority of people survive this. Okay. Can't argue that. You want to risk it? You want to risk surviving it and then going home and killing your mother when you hug her. Now, there are some people who don't have mothers. They don't care. They don't have grandmothers. They don't care about anything but themselves. Is that you? Because if that's you, then we're wasting time. You need to turn off the show and go on. Here's the thing you don't know. Thousands of healthcare providers are dead across the world. Thousands. So there are people who are not doing well with this virus. You want to kill your healthcare worker? You don't get this disease. It doesn't happen to you. If your healthcare worker's dead and you come up with cancer, uh-oh. Didn't think about that one. Because during this disease, cancer doesn't stop. During this disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, colon cancer, none of that stops. That's still killing people. That doesn't stop. That keeps killing people. And if there are no healthcare providers there for you, see, this is when we find just how interconnected we all are. Where your actions could affect my safety. This is where we find out that what you do can kill me, and what I do can kill you. We can kill each other just by being selfish. It's always been that way. It's always been that way. Right now what I'm doing is just came in the house from being outside, so I'm wiping my face down with alcohol. Then I'll wipe out my ears with alcohol. Because the disease can get in through your ears, nose, and throat. Ears, nose, and mouth, and your eyes. So you clean your ears and your eyes, and you can't really clean your eyes, but you clean your ears and your nose. Wipe your face with the alcohol, because that could save your life. Then you come in and you wash your hands. That's the first thing you do. You wash your hands before you touch your fine-ass woman. You wash your hands before you touch anything. And this is how you're supposed to survive. washing my hands now. You're supposed to sing happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear John John. Happy birthday to me. You gotta sing it twice. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear John John. Happy birthday to me. 2 happy birthdays is how long you're supposed to wash your hands. That's called the 3-minute scrub. And now your hands may be clean enough that you don't pass the pandemic on to yourself. Have you ever counted how many times you touch your face? You touch your face a whole hell of a lot in the daytime. You got to figure out how not to do that. I've been carrying a little rag. I take that rag and I wipe my face with it instead of touching my face. So these are the things that you have to do. You got to figure out how to survive. The experts don't know much. They're about as dumb as a box of fucking rocks. But you got to listen to what they're talking about, because that's the only thing because that's the only thing that you have to go by right now is what they've told you. That's it. You don't have anything else to go by. So be smart in the herd, my friends. Be intelligent in the herd. Do what the herd requires so that you can live as long as possible and maybe outlive this thing. That's what you got to do. So anyway, that's my blog for tonight. That's my 2 cents. We ask that you hang out with us on thinktacticalnews.com. That's our online website. Our online news magazine, thinktacticalnews.com, where I will be keeping you up to date with prepper strategies that may save your life. And we've been doing this for a while. We've been prepping for a while. So hopefully we can follow these strategies and maybe we can survive this. Follow us on Think Tactical News here also on YouTube. Think Tactical, actually it's Think Tactical on YouTube. And this podcast, which is called Think Tactical, and then thinktacticalnews.com. On Facebook, you can follow me on Black Dragon Survivalist blog, where we do this thing. And I guess we'll get an Instagram page up. And we're not just talking about the coronavirus. We're talking about prepping and bugging out and thinking tactical and being tactically aware in every situation. We got some other things coming on, man. We got some things to think about. Like if this thing really gets bad, what are we going to do to protect ourselves and our belongings when those people that haven't prepared at all want to start coming and kicking in our doors? And you're going to see that as the police department starts to dwindle, as police officers start to get sick, and the public realizes that we're screwed because there's no one watching the jungle. And when there's no one watching the jungle will erupt. And you got to know how to protect yourself. And it ain't going to be you sitting by your door with your gun. Better get out there and make friends with your neighbors, because you can't stand watch 24/7. Got to find like-minded people around you by which you can create a community, even if you stand together 6 feet apart. You'll be standing together. And you might need that advantage if this thing sinks towards chaos. I'm Black Dragon. This has been a Think Tactical production. Myself, Myron Petro, Coach Myron, and Eclipse Bob Coleman. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. And always, think tactical.